So close to half of Canadian job seekers say they use AI tools like ChatGPT to support them during the application process. For example, by plugging in some basic info, you can make a resume in literally seconds with the help of AI. And while that might sound appealing, our next guest says it could be preventing you from landing that new gig. Career expert Angela Champ joins us now from Windsor. Hey, Angela.
Good morning.
It's great to talk to you. So, obviously there's a lot of time-saving potential with using AI and ChatGPT during the application process for a job. But what are some of the issues with using AI to assist you?
Yes, so many people are using ChatGPT that they may be surprised to find out that it could be preventing them from landing a job. And part of it is exactly what you said in the intro. It's so easy to generate a resume in just seconds that where a company might get 50 or 100 resumes in the past when they were doing it the old-fashioned way, now because it's so easy to generate one and send an application in, companies are getting thousands of resumes. And what's happening is that qualified resumes are getting buried because hardly any recruiters are looking at thousands of resumes. And that's the reason why is because people are faking it till they make it. They're using ChatGPT to create a really good sounding resume, but they may not have the qualifications, and so they're being discounted, and then that sets out a bad precedent. And lastly, an AI-generated resume might be too generic, and there's nothing about it that might help you stand out so that you can land that interview so you can get that job.
Yeah, it's wild. So it results in a flood of applications because more job seekers are applying because it's easier to do up an application and a resume. That can be time consuming, obviously, if you're doing it on your own. So there's a flood of those. It makes all the resumes sound pretty generic. So given this new landscape, like, can recruiters and places that you're applying to, can they tell if you're using AI to help you generate an application or a resume?
Definitely. Many recruiters can tell, and they're doing this. First of all, some of them are running the resumes or applications through an AI checker, such as the Zero GPT, and it's telling them how much of the resume is AI generated. Set up some red flags for the recruiter. Secondly, it could sound like a generic listing of job duties. What people do is they take their resume, they take the job posting, which, by the way, may also be AI generated, and they're just regurgitating what it says in the job posting. So again, nothing that makes them stand out. The resume might just copy the listing word for word, and there's a certain voice. Now, some people are using ChatGPT and they're training it to speak in their voice, but many people are not. And so some applications that they're using, it has a ChatGPT voice, and that is flagging the recruiter that maybe this one is not an authentic application.
I hadn't heard that before. So recruiters can send your application or your resume through an AI checker and get a fairly accurate reading as to what percentage of it you used or was generated by AI? That's wild.
You run it through the checker, and it will say what percentage of it is AI generated. It could be like 1%, because if you're using it for proofreading, but sometimes it's 100% AI generated.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Okay, so somebody is applying for a job. They're not going to use any AI or ChatGPT in part because of this information that you're giving now. How do you stand out then, especially given that there are now maybe thousands of applications to a job that used to get hundreds?
Yes, definitely. So what you don't want to do is send in a generic application. Even if you're using ChatGPT or AI to create an outline, make sure that every bullet point on your resume answers the question, so what? In other words, you are responsible for sales. So what? So you exceeded last year's target, or you were the #1 salesperson for the quarter. Make sure that you're using metrics. If you're in HR, did you reduce turnover? By how much? If you were in sales, did you increase sales? By how much? If you are in customer service, what were your customer satisfaction scores? You use metrics like percentages and dollar figures to personalize it. Another thing you may want to do is look up who is the hiring manager or the recruiter and send your application to them directly rather than sending it generically through the website. And the last thing that you can do is through your network, go onto LinkedIn, see who knows somebody from that organization, and ask them to refer you. Often referrals get brought to the top of the pile. And so if you're competing with thousands of people, at least you'll have a better chance than the rest of the people will.
And just very quickly, we only have about 15 seconds left, but if you're not using AI or ChatGPT, how can you save time going through what can be a very time-consuming application process?
Create a master resume that lists every job that you've ever had with all of these metrics that we talked about. But then for each job, take that master resume and narrow it down, make it specific to that organization or that job. It might take about 20 minutes, but you're more likely to get a quality product versus just quantity, just sending it in and competing with thousands of others.
All right, Angela Champ, thank you so much for joining us. Some great information there. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.